We are live. Here we are, Monday night, June 3rd. 3-game slate locking at 9:40 Eastern. This is not a normal one. I guess we got the MLB draft going on in the background. And we're having a newbie on for Live Before Lock. Chris Randone joining me. What's going on, man? Welcome to Live Before Lock.
Man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
We're going to have a ton to talk about. AKA not a lot to talk about. Unless you have really negative takes on Aaron Nola, there's going to be some overlap on this one. Should be fun. So we're going to treat this a little bit differently than a normal Live Before Lock. We didn't have a deeper dive leading into it. So we'll go game by game, talk about some things that we like. We'll get our dong picks in at some point. We'll take questions. We'll be all over the map. But this is just going to be pretty free flowing because we don't do a ton of shows at 8:45. This feels like PGA Live Before Lock. So,
man, I must say I just figured out that I was listening to YouTube and you at the same time, so now I can just hear you.
Oh, perfect.
I couldn't hear anything before. All I heard was double voices, so we're good to go. We're ready to rip.
Perfect. Well, there you go. Nobody wants to hear me twice at the same time. Very few people actually want to hear me once, like at the same time. So twice is probably not going to be great. Let's take it.
You got a gentle voice. It's not too bad.
It's not the best voice right now. It's lacking in, I don't know, power and structure. Everything's just kind of going on bad everywhere in this throat area. I feel great, sound terrible, which I guess is good. I'd rather feel good and sound bad than the opposite.
True. I agree with you on that.
All right, I have to update these lines on the games. I realized that I did not do that before we started, but there hasn't really been much line movement yet today. Nothing has moved really at all since I grabbed them earlier today. You dabble in any sports betting?
Yeah, from time to time.
Okay.
Probably more back in the day, but now probably just very minimal. More like on big games like the finals or like college football or NHL playoffs, something like that.
Sure. Well, let's talk DFS. Diamondbacks and Dodgers, first game up. I think it's awesome that we got all of these lineups like 2 hours ago and we don't have to worry about, like waiting it out until 9:30 or something stupid. So
it's so nice.
Robbie Ray going for the Diamondbacks. Walker Buehler going for the Dodgers. Dodgers have a 4.5 run implied total. Diamondbacks 3.9, 56% chance to win for the Dodgers. So we're going to start right away with a pretty big stand of mine. I am getting very, very, very little Robbie Ray and quite a bit of Dodgers bats. And that seems to be the line that I'm drawing in the sand for this 3-gamer. So we'll start there. What are your thoughts on Robbie Ray tonight?
To be honest with you, I keep going back and forth. I get a lot of Robbie Ray, and then I don't. It really comes down to kind of what I'm seeing with the Dodgers. I mean, they actually strike out the 5th lowest against left-handed pitching on the road at 20%. Yeah. And given the fact that Robbie Ray's a strikeout pitcher, but then LA's disciplined, I mean, that's like the biggest thing. But another thing is they actually hit left-handed pitching pretty solid. They have the 4th highest ISO and the 5th highest WOBA in the league. So that's something that really kind of is making me go back and forth on Ray right now.
Yeah, I didn't really know how it would shake out when I first started looking at it, because I was basically looking at this slate as Aaron Nola at the top of the heap, and then some sort of coin flip happening between Robbie Ray and Walker Buehler. And I know that I was going to go one direction, and I'm probably going to have the team on the opposite side of that from a stack perspective. And that ended up being stacking up the Dodgers and what amounts to fading Robbie Ray. There's only so many different directions you can go. It's really hard to play them both. So as of right now, we have 41% projected ownership for Robbie Ray, and I have 6. And I'm a little nervous because on these 3-gamers, it's one decision makes or breaks you. If Aaron Nola doesn't have a great day, I'm dead in the water. If Robbie Ray does, I'm dead in the water. But here we are.
I feel like the top of the order is the only thing that scares me with Ray facing the Dodgers, because then you have Seager, Verdugo, Peterson, all lefties,
Yeah.
all really don't fare well. And then you got the pitching spot. So I mean that's probably more than likely an easy K spot for Ray.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. It's hard, but 6%. I probably will have more than definitely 6% of Robbie Ray.
Yeah, I don't entirely blame you. I have, I don't know, like 50% more than the field of Dodgers bats as of right now. So I'll know pretty early whether or not I'm going to be trying to stay up late enough to see if I have anything to sweat. Because if the Dodgers tank, that's pretty much it for me. I need them to be at least mildly functional. So 41% Ray is the projection on DK, 27% on FanDuel, 52% on Yahoo right now. He's the second most owned guy. Are you, I guess we should get a little bit of background for you. Are you an MME guy? Are you, a one lineup guy, three lineup guy? You floating in between?
So the higher stakes, I do usually one entry, maybe two.
Okay.
And then the lower entries, I do mass entries sometimes, or I'll do around like 100 entries. It all depends on the price point.
Okay.
So given that, I mean, especially on FanDuel, Robbie Ray, his price point with the strikeout upside at 8,000 compared to 10.4 for Bueller.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna have a lot more shares of Ray, just based on that salary relief that I get, and it does have that huge strikeout upside.
For sure. Yeah, the price tag on FanDuel is a little bit different. I don't really have any Bueller or Ray for the most part. It's pretty much just all Nola. But I would be leaning towards Ray on FanDuel because $2,400 is quite a bit of money for guys that I think are pretty similar today, all things considered. So are you more of a FanDuel guy, DK guy, both?
I'm both.
Okay.
To be honest with you, the last few weeks, actually, I used to be heavy DraftKings, and then I switched to FanDuel, and then now I've been doing both. And I've been kind of leaning more towards DraftKings lately just because of the prize structure.
Okay.
I've kind of taken a little bit more focus on that. And so I've been just playing tournaments that kind of set me up for more success based on the prize pool.
Okay.
But I mean, I use both.
I've always been like naturally a FanDuel guy. I've been playing a lot more DK as this season has gone on, and basically since I've been with Osimo. But I don't know, for some reason I was always honestly, I think it's the color. The blue of FanDuel is appealing to me, and the dark black background of DraftKings was off-putting. I'm a blue guy. I've got fantastic blue eyes, so I gravitate to it.
Oh my god! But you got a green wall. You should be a DraftKings guy.
I only have a green wall to you. Everybody else thinks that I'm floating in the group of laser beams.
Oh, you got laser beams going?
Yeah, I went laser beams today. We could switch it off. I can make it a golf course. I can make it money. I could probably bring the pizza bites back if I needed to.
That's amazing.
Plenty of options. God. Anytime I'm on DK Live, they yell at me. They're like, you can't put anything on that green wall. I was like, you guys can put anything you want on it. Anything at all. You don't even have to tell me that you did it. You guys control this. That's the point of the green screen. They don't call it. That's why they call it a green screen.
Is there a specific green that you need for the green screen?
Kind of. Okay. So there are some paints that are made specifically to be green screen paints, and they only have one specific pigment of green in them. I just got like a recommended green from like Benjamin Moore or something stupid, but you kind of just need one that has like as little blue and red in it as possible. Not that like you think about that when you look at green, but it's in there somewhere. That's awesome. You just need to be able to filter it out because it's rarely in like your skin tone. You don't get a lot of green people.
Yeah, not too much.
No, I hope not.
Haven't seen many.
I was a little green Sunday morning when I woke up, but I cleared that out. Yeah, YouTube chat is very aware that it is past my bedtime. Kind of. Wow. See, every Wednesday I'm up until this time producing the PGA Live Before Lock show. So it's not so bad, but yeah, I'm never up late sweating games. I basically never see any part of a West Coast game. I just kind of wake up and find out how I did, which is sometimes really fun, sometimes not so fun.
Oh man, I like to live the sweat. It's fun.
I would if I were on the West Coast, but
Yeah.
it's impossible for me to
Okay,
be
I
up
agree.
to that point.
All right, I agree with you on that. That's
I
fair
mean,
enough.
like I get up at 6. I got to get everything ready for the next morning for strategy show and just in general. So luckily for me, I'm a morning person. Okay, so we talked a little bit about Robbie Ray. We talked a little bit about Dodgers bats. How do you feel about Walker Buehler here? 10-4 on FanDuel. It's a pretty big price tag. $8,900 though on DraftKings. $300 cheaper than Robbie Ray. Is this a spot where you're kind of playing one guy on one site and one guy on the other?
uh, that's a good question. So Bueller, I have minimal on FanDuel.
Okay.
However, DraftKings, I have quite a bit, and I also have him paired up with Ray because my bats are leaning elsewhere. So it's almost as if I'm looking at a pitcher's duel here.
Okay.
And I mean, and that's just solely based on the matchup, and really without Bellinger in the lineup, that definitely helps me kind of want to see a pitcher's duel even more. And there's not a lot of bats that scare me, I guess I could say, compared to the other two games.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you there. Not a ton of bats in this game that I am particularly fearful of. I mean, I guess Kike, Justin Turner. I mean, the righties at the top of the Dodgers order. I have a lot of Chris Taylor. Not a guy that generally puts fear in the heart of other pitchers, or it'll put a lot of fear in me because of how much I have of him. But I get caught up in the leadoff hitters. So I don't have much Diamondbacks in this spot. I've got a lot of respect for Walker Buehler. So even though Walker Buehler is getting quite a bit of ownership, it's not like I'm not really trying to hedge all that much from the Diamondbacks. I don't have anybody from Arizona above 10% on DK. I do have a little bit of Jared Dyson on FanDuel, but otherwise I don't have much of the Diamondbacks. I'm basically half the field or lower. Are you doing anything interesting with Diamondbacks bats?
One thing that's interesting is Diamondbacks are expensive on DraftKings,
Very.
especially for this matchup.
Yeah,
And
they're priced like
so
they're playing on the moon.
I feel like they're playing at Colorado.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. And I think that's pushing people away from even considering them as a contrarian stack, which is why we're seeing the ownership kind of drop. But I mean, out of this lineup, I do like Kettle Marte
My
and
man.
Christian Walker
He's my
and Christian
man.
Walker. I mean, those are two bats that I would use as one-offs if I'm not playing a stack. But other than that, I really have no interest in Vargas or Kelly. Dyson, I like, especially if he gets on base and there's stolen base opportunity there. And I mean, that's pretty much it. Diamondbacks, I mean, that run implied total for, I think it's second lowest tonight on the
Yeah.
slate outside of Padres. So I just can't pay up for that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Especially when you're facing Walker Buehler. It's not like they're just facing some random pitcher and they're still expensive. And you're like, okay, well, you'll make the stand. But to want to pay $5,100 for Eduardo Escobar in his, like, against, what's Walker Buehler? A top 15 pitcher in baseball? 20?
I'll say top 20.
Something in that neighborhood? I just don't need to do that. That's a really expensive decision to make. So today will probably be the day that the Diamondbacks go for 15 runs. Wouldn't shock me in the slightest.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you.
I mean, on a 3-game slate, we have a 3-game slate every day. It might not be the main slate, but we're going to have some sort of 3-gamer somewhere. The team that looks the worst is going to be the best way more often than you would ever think. I mean, here's a good way to think about it. Let me pull up the Awesemo stack tool. We'll see what Alex's chances of them being like the top stack and top value are, and that kind of puts it into perspective.
I would say 2%. So
Arizona top stack on DraftKings is, we'll say 10%, which is reasonable. 6 teams, it's got to be split up somewhere. But they even have a 6% chance of being the top value, and that's really where the perspective comes in. That even if they are that expensive, 6 times out of 100, they're going to blow everybody so far out of the water that those prices stop mattering. Now, what you do with that information and how many lineups you're playing will sort of change the equation for you. But on a 3-game slate, the chances of any one of those 6 teams playing being the team that pops off are not insignificant.
Right.
So who's your favorite bat in this game?
If I'm going to go with favorite bat in this game, I'm probably going to say Kiki Hernandez.
Okay.
Or even if we're talking DraftKings, Will Smith as a pivot to the cheapest person on the slate, batting in the 6-hole righty-lefty matchup.
I have quite a bit of Will Smith. If he goes yard, I'm going to play a lot of getting jiggy with it or something while I'm still awake. Favorite Will Smith track?
Yep. Oh, favorite Will Smith track? Miami's a really good one.
that song is my nemesis. That song is the only song that I've ever tried to do karaoke to.
Oh my God. You got a voice. Well, with this voice that's already shaken, I don't know if I want to hear your singing voice.
It didn't go well. Let's just put it that way. Not a song that I've ever heard done before, and not a song that I would ever try to do again.
I've never really thought of picking Will Smith for karaoke. I've done NSYNC or Backstreet Boys in college, but that was about it.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know why I did. I guess I know why I did. That's the power of beer.
Yeah. Or you just binge watch Men in Black.
Great movie. So I worked in a video store when I was in high school. I got really into the second Men in Black, which came out right around that time. So that was on loop for a while.
Okay.
EMAC going with Parents Just Don't Understand. So going with some deep cuts. Congrats to you there on that one, EMAC.
Amazing.
I'm guessing EMAC didn't buy the Will Ennium CD.
Oh my God, this is incredible.
So good.
We're really taking it back.
So, as I mentioned before, I've got a ton of Dodgers. This is a spot I'm planting my flag in the sand. I'm a little bit north of the field on Walker Buehler. I don't have much Buehler, though, on FanDuel. I'm basically all over Aaron Nola. So, if you have any other Diamondbacks Dodger stakes, drop them in. Otherwise, let's move on to the next one.
No, I think we're good there.
Perfect. Alrighty, moving to Mariners and Astros. 4.5 run implied total for the Mariners, 5 run implied total for the Astros, 55% chance to win for Houston. Somebody is starting for Seattle, not that it matters. Wade LeBlanc coming in as the long guy. Corbin Martin going for the Stros. I do not have a single share of Corbin Martin across any site. I do, however, have 13% Wade LeBlanc at 5K on DraftKings right now. Did not expect that coming into today, but here we are. Any interest in these pitchers?
Oh man, I do actually.
I hope it's LeBlanc.
It is because my article today really crushed Corbin Martin. I do have 2% Corbin Martin just because, just superstitious, but I do on DraftKings have a little bit of Wade LeBlanc paired with Nola.
Okay.
And that's specifically for me to get some extra bats that I like that are more expensive, like Philadelphia, which we'll get into that game after. But I do like Wade LeBlanc coming in the second or third inning. But also outside of Bregman and possibly Reddick, this Houston Astros team doesn't really scare me. I like Marcinek, but outside of that, it doesn't scare me to where I could roster Wade LeBlanc and maybe get a couple good innings, some strikeouts, and that would be okay for an SP2 on DraftKings if all fares well.
So what you're telling me is you're not super worried about Jack Mayfield and Miles Straw, whoever those two people may be?
Miles Straw stole 3 bases yesterday. And I really don't know much of him except he's played 2 games now and went 0 for 4 in his debut. And then, we have Derek Fisher, which would be a lefty-lefty matchup. I am not a fan of Tyler White. I couldn't tell you how many times I've rostered him only to come up disappointed, and him being a huge value play. He just really can't hit the ball.
It's all or nothing with White.
Yeah, I mean, he's got one bomb on the year, and the thing is that there's not. I mean, Chirinos has.
Does he really only have one home
Several-
run this year?
I think Tyler White has one home run, if I'm not mistaken. I think. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure.
I'll trust you.
I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. Now you're scaring me, but
I mean, if
yeah,
it's two
he
or
has
something,
one. No, he has one home run
okay,
and 111 at bats.
that's really not great.
No, no, and I mean he's low price, but yet it's just I feel like it's a lottery with him, and there hasn't been anything yet that leads me to believe I can roster him and feel comfortable doing it. So at 2,800, if you're playing FanDuel, I mean, there's a lot of other options that you could leverage to at that price point, and that's just not a place that I want to go.
So what I'm hearing then is that you are fading the Astros chalk.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm fading them tonight.
Okay.
Outside of Jake Marasinick, because he has a lot of great upside and a really good ISO against left-handed pitching. And it's something where it's a good matchup for him. I like him, and he's someone that I have faith in outside of anyone else.
Okay. Right now, I'm about neutral on Astros stacks, so I'm anxious. Is it Mariners for you? Are you going up against Corbin Martin with your primary stacks, or are you looking more towards the Phillies or Padres? I guess.
Mariners, I have a lot.
Okay, well then talk to me about the Mariners. Who's standing out for you?
Haniger, Edward Carnacion for sure. They're high on my list. The thing is I have to switch out Vogelback and Encarnacion with lineups on DraftKings, so I have to go back and forth.
Yeah.
But who I really like is I like Domingo Santana.
Okay, 4,200 DK, 3,400 FanDuel, $15 on Yahoo.
Yeah, and then Omar Narvaez at catcher. I mean, these bats across the board. See, the thing is, they all have power. I mean, from Haniger down to Santana. I mean, if you take out Seager, because I mean he was injured, but I mean they all have great WOBA against right-hand pitching, and they can all power. Now I know that they're in Safeco Field. However, though, Corbin Martin, I think we both can agree, is just not a pitcher we can trust.
That's a safe bet, yeah.
And I wrote in the article today. I wrote how his changeup is really good.
Yeah.
But he's only thrown it 11% of the time, and he has a high swinging strike rate with his changeup. Yet he just doesn't throw it, and so he throws his four-seam fastball, which is getting crushed. I think it's a little bit over 64% of the time so far in 4 games. And Mariners crush four-seam fastballs up and down the lineup. Haniger specifically, I think he has I think like a 4.75 WOBA against a four-seam pitch. So for me, if Corbin's going to be throwing a lot of four-seam fastballs, I think, which he's going to based on what we've seen thus far, I like Seattle a lot.
I have a little bit less than the field on DraftKings. I'm basically equal with the field on FanDuel as of right now. Uh-oh. I just pulled my headset out. I don't really have anybody where I'm like massively over or massively under. I just kind of have a bunch of... This is a game where I'm basically just using it as filler. My real stance is the Dodgers and the Phillies. And the Astros and Mariners are just going to be ownership that comes along for the ride. So happy to have them. Like I have 10% aggregate on Seattle, on DK, 15 on FanDuel, about with the field. Not as much of the bottom of the order of Seattle as the top, but if the Dodgers and Phillies go well, then I need one of these teams to just be solid, or at least hopefully I have those home runs that happen. But I get the appeal of Seattle.
Another interesting stat to kind of solidify my fading the Astros case. And this is something that it's just, I like to look at all different things, but sure. I mean, in 75 at bats in Safeco, Bregman has 1 home run. And majority of his power this year has came against right-handed pitching, not left-handing. So just, these minor things kind of help me kind of stay away from something that I already want to fade. And I like getting those little extra details in to solidify my case for myself.
Okay, so give me is your favorite bat from the Mariners Domingo Santana, or are we talking more like Encarnacion Vogelbach?
Favorite bat is Haniger. He ranks first, and then Santana, and then it's back and forth between Vogelback and Encarnacion.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a big Haniger fan. 4,100 on FanDuel is not the greatest price. 4,300 on DK works. Only $16 on Yahoo. I like both of those. Is there anybody that stands out to you from the Astros outside of Bregman? Anybody that you're getting to more than you expected?
Marcinek.
Okay.
I have a lot of him.
Okay.
Specifically one off. I mean, he is the only Astro that I'm really rostering. But outside of that, I don't really have much Gurriel, not much Trinos, no White. I have no Mayfield. I'm sorry. And yeah, that's it's not an Astros night for me, and that can hurt me. But I'm with you on Philly, and I'm excited to talk about that game because I like them a lot.
Well, then let's just get into that now because that's going to be a spot that I'm pitching my wagon a little bit. Padres 3.7 run implied total. Phillies 4.2. 56% chance to win for the Phils. Eric Lauer going for San Diego. Aaron Nola going for the Phillies. As of right now, buckle up. 87% exposure to Aaron Nola on FanDuel and 99% on DraftKings. 1 out of the 150 that I'm playing today do not have Aaron Nola. So let's just start there. What are your thoughts on Aaron Nola?
I mean, I'm with you. I don't have 89% you said?
87 on FanDuel, 99 on DraftKings.
My God. I mean, I think I might almost be there with you. It's just, I don't see how you can't roster him, especially for anyone on DraftKings. I mean, he is just SP number one all the way.
Yeah.
It's a great matchup. I mean, San Diego, they are one of the highest strikeout teams against right-hand pitching at home. Nola was amazing in May. He started off the season really rocky, but then in May, I mean, he went 4-0 in 6 starts. ERA was completely down. He was averaging 7 strikeouts a game. So he's going to get his strikeouts. And I mean, you have the pitcher spot, which is a huge upside. And then you have bats like Kinsler and Myers, who strikes out, I think it's like 36-37% K rate. It's like either he pops up or he strikes out.
He's a big fan of the strikeout.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a really good matchup for Nola, and it's a pitching ballpark upgrade for him. It would be fairly rare to see him go into this and have a disastrous start, to be honest with you. So I'm with you on owning a lot of Nola tonight.
Yeah, so he grades out really well across the board. He's the highest projected pitcher by quite a bit in terms of Alex's projections. At 19.9 on DK right now. Robbie Ray, second closest, 17.1. It's a pretty big gap for two guys that are separated by only $400. So by all accounts, Aaron Nola is the guy today. And I agree. I project him for 7.6 strikeouts. Almost a full strikeout ahead of Robbie Ray. There's a lot of swing and miss in this Padres lineup. That he gets 6 righties. I don't know if Lauer hits lefty or righty, but I don't really care. He's still just the pitcher. The game is in Petco, so obviously a helpful park for a pitcher. I just can't get away from him. Heading into Sunday, I'd been on this stretch where on short slates, basically every pitcher that I would play heavily like this was just getting bombed. There's nothing I could do. Luis Castillo, like a week or two ago, just every single guy that I would be like 80-90% on would just get shellacked. And then I had that same stance this past Sunday with Scherzer. Went a little bit different. I think he in the teens and strikeouts, 40-something DK points. So I'm hoping that was just me breaking the curse and that it won't happen tonight. But I'm at the very least, I'm going to have to stay up until like 10:30, 10:45 just to make sure that Aaron Nola doesn't get bombed right out of the gate.
I mean, and also the matchup, the Padres, they rank bottom 5 in average, WRC, I think WRC plus and WOBA.
Yeah.
I mean, Franmil Reyes, I will say, has a lot of power, and Hunter Renfroe. And those probably are two bats in the lineup that you might be fearful of. But then again, when, if he's striking out 10 guys and he gives up 2 runs and it's just one home run each, it's something where it's not going to hurt his start. He's still going to provide you that quality start that you're looking for. But I mean, guys like Greg Garcia, Machado's not having a great year whatsoever, and he strikes out a lot.
Yeah.
And so, besides that, then the bottom of the lineup, just Austin Hedges doesn't scare me, Kinsler, and I think it could be one of those nights where he does have an amazing night, just like Scherzer did against Cincinnati the other day.
So you mentioned Machado. On a slate like this, I'm running, since I'm running in Fantasy Cruncher, I'm running at least or at max one hitter from the opposing team just in case. So I am getting to a little bit of Manny Machado right now, as like a guy coming back against Nola. It's basically the only Padre. So are you getting to any Padres as a hedge against Nola's ownership?
Yeah, so Hosmer is the only other lefty outside of Greg Garcia in the batting order, and the only real batter that I'm getting coming up in my crunches. But he does have a good matchup, to be honest with you, against Nola.
Yeah.
He hits righties good. He's at home, and he's in the 5 holes or in the 4 hole, excuse me. So he is coming up a lot. But then again, I do like Reyes and Renfro as one-offs if there's a bat that I had to choose from this game, just because of that upside power.
Yeah, I mean, Franmil Reyes can hit a ball out of any park, off of
Yeah,
any pitcher.
yeah.
That's a dude that just terrifies me. He's not someone that I like to not have.
If you can put him in as a one-off, that's great. But also don't forget, I mean, if you're doing a lot of entries, I'm not gonna lie here, I do have like 2 or 3 Padre stacks on DraftKings in the $12 tournament
Yeah.
where you got to hedge yourself. So if they go off, great, but it's one of those nights where you feel really confident about the matchup, and San Diego strikes out a lot. So whenever it's a matchup where it's not just a bad team with a low run implied total, but they also strike out a lot, that's like the recipe for success when you're facing also a pitcher who has the ability to strike out a lot of guys.
No, that's absolutely true. Especially on a 3-game slate. Like, it's probably in your best interest to have at least a share of everybody. I mean, if you're playing one lineup, clearly you can't do that. But if you're in a 20 max, I'm probably starting with one stack of all 6 teams, and then I'll figure out the other 14 from there.
Yeah, I agree. What about the Phillies bats?
Yeah, so I'm a fan. In my home run model today, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper, Andrew McCutchen taking up 3 of the top 5 spots. McCutchen is a guy that I end up with a lot of pretty much every time that he plays, especially against a lefty. They're relatively reasonably priced on FanDuel. They're a little expensive on DraftKings. The good news is they're kind of easy to stack. You get 2 outfielders in their first 4. You get a shortstop. You get a first baseman. Real Muto is one of the few catchers that are actually good hitters, independent of being a catcher. So stacking him ends up being a little bit easier. And then at the bottom of the order, you get dual eligibility from Kingery and Sean Rodriguez, which helps to let the pieces fit together as you need them. So the Phillies right now are my second most exposed stack, and it's a spot that I want to go against. I don't normally target against Eric Lauer. I think he's like a functionally solid pitcher, but on a day like today where you don't really have a ton of options to go against anybody in particular, I'm going to try to bet on some of the power bats from Philly. I would say that my favorite is probably McCutchen, he is 5,400 on DraftKings. What a world in Petco, and I'm gonna play 70% more than the field. So, talk to me about Phillies bats. Talk to me about McCutchen, or talk to me about somebody that's standing out to you.
Yeah, I do like McCutchen. When it comes to the rest of the lineup, I'm really big, probably more than the field, on Kingery
Okay.
and Sean Rodriguez.
Okay, I get that.
Both priced fairly well on FanDuel with also low ownership projected from the Osmo projections. And on DraftKings, the value of Sean Rodriguez is there. He's 3,700, and Kendry's a little bit higher. He's 4,300. But they both hit lefties good, and I do kind of like them lower in the lineup because everyone kind of will focus more top heavy. And so I do like rostering them, knowing that they won't be highly owned, and if they go off, I'm putting myself in a good spot.
Yeah, I generally end up with way more of the bottom of orders than you typically see in like any sort of like more than the public for sure. These 1 and 2 and 3% owned guys that hit 7th or 8th or 9th, I usually end up in like the 10, 11, 12% range on these guys. I think they probably go a little bit under owned from time to time. So guys like Kingery and Sean Rodriguez, Rodriguez in particular, not a great hitter, strikes out a ton, not really bringing a ton to the table, but he has pop. And to be able to slot that in, potentially at shortstop if you want, if you don't want to go to Segura at 4,500, or even just getting him as the third baseman, I think that's a really reasonable stance to take. I'm actually getting a lot of Sean Rodriguez on FanDuel, 18% in fact. We have him projected for just 6 because he's a third baseman that's only 2,200, and that's a bargain price at a position where, we probably have 6 to 8. I mean, I guess I could check it right now. How many third basemen are legitimately on this slate?
I think it's about 8 or 9.
It is 7. We have 7 guys with third base eligibility on FanDuel for tonight.
On FanDuel, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, pretty naturally, I'm going to end up on the guy that's cheapest. He'll show up as one-offs against basically everybody. It wouldn't even stop, like if I'm running a crunch, it wouldn't stop me from getting him as a one-off against Lauer. So that price tag, I just wish he was hitting higher in the order. I'd love to flip-flop him and Kingery. I'd probably end up with like 30% of him. But as of right now, I'll take 3 times the field.
Yeah, he does have pop. He does hit lefties good.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's one of those things. He's lowly priced on. Not a lot of people aren't on him, and that having pop and potential upside, I like where we're going with that.
Yeah, you and me both. Give me one last second. I'm putting in my final lineups. I just want to make sure I get them in before I'm not paying attention and it's 9:45, because honestly, I'm not really used to doing a show at this time, and the logistic, like normally I'm just used to hitting 7 o'clock on the dot. It's a little bit different when it's 9:25. Well, at least for me, 9:25. A reasonable hour for you.
Yeah, I'm doing like an actual East Coast slate right now.
Yeah.
Time. It's
Yeah.
so weird.
And I'm doing it in like the weirdest way possible. Like I haven't played a night slate in, I couldn't even tell you how long. 2 years probably.
Those are really fun, by the way.
Yeah, it's just what I need is to move to Hawaii and get 1 o'clock baseball at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Do they even do they let you play DFS there?
I have no idea. Last time I was in Hawaii was 16 years ago, so things have changed a bit.
Oh yeah.
Things were so different at that point that my buddy used his cell phone to call his girlfriend. This was right after we graduated high school, and he got like a couple $100 worth of roaming charges just from calling from Hawaii. You would never even think about that now.
That's horrible.
It's weird that like back in the day, you had to call, like long distance was a thing. Man, we were so bad at technology for a hot minute. So we've got 3 games up. We've got 3 games down. Normally at the midway point, which we're a little bit past that, we've got about 15 minutes before lock. Normally at the halfway point of live before lock, we give our dong picks. We pick the guys that we pick someone that we expect to hit a home run today. So this will be your first time making a dong pick on the show. I don't want to take your guy first, so the floor is yours. You have the entire slate. We don't have any cores. Our only qualification is we don't take bats from cores. So we don't have to worry about that. Who do you think hits a dong tonight?
I'm going to go with Edward Encarnacion.
Encarnacion coming in number 2 in the home run model today. So
that's my guy.
I like it. I like it. I'm expecting Emac to come in with Vogelbach. I don't know if Jake's around right now. I think he might have like beer league softball or some sort of thing going on a Monday night. So I am up, and I'm going to go with one of my high-ranked Phillies. I'm not going to take Hoskins because he's in the number 1 spot. I try not to do that. Makes me feel weird. So I'm going to take the leadoff hitter for the Phillies, Andrew McCutchen.
Ooh, okay.
So Dong picks are in. Edwin Encarnacion, Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen coming in 6th, by the way, in my model. That's not true. 5th. I'm feeling good. I need to get another one. Emac is running away with this contest right now. It's really not great. I don't know if you guys saw it. The Awesemo handle tweeted out about an hour or two ago what the current Dong standings are, and going pretty well for Emac right now. Emac, 12 correct picks out of 34 chances, 35% success rate right now. I have 9 total dongs. Jake has 9 total dongs, but technically speaking, Jake has had more correct days picked. I happened to get a double out of Francisco Lindor a bit earlier in the season. Chris bringing up the rear in both correct picks and total dongs at just 8. We got to get you up to. We got to get you on enough live before locks that you can lap Spags.
Man, what if he double dongs? Does that count?
So you will get credit for both parts of that. You'll get 2 dongs and the correct selection. And I don't believe that we've ever had a triple.
Hey, there's always a first for everything, right?
Yeah. If you get a triple dong, you are not invited back.
All right.
If you get the double dong, kudos. I'm equal to the field on Encarnacion, so I won't be too mad.
All right, that's not bad.
If there's going to be a double or a triple dong on this 3-game slate, I hope it's on somebody that I have way too much of. Emac going with Alex Bregman, 3rd in the home run model. So we are monopolizing the top of my home run list.
I like it.
Who the hell did I take? I already forgot. Andrew McCutchen. Got a memory like a goldfish. Bregman going to Emac. Doesn't appear that we have any sign of Jake. I see no sign of Spags, so both of them can suck it. All right. We have, what time's locked? 9:40, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that I don't give the wrong information and then nobody gets their stuff in. 10 minutes to lock. 9 minutes to lock. We just flipped. So let's take some questions. YouTube chat, feel free to drop them in. I will prioritize our premium Slack, but if you beat them to the punch, be happy to get them in. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you wanted to touch on? Anything that we've missed?
No, I think we covered mostly. Yeah.
What do we got coming in? I really like Emac's Bregman pick. That was for a minute that was going to be my pick, and then I just felt like I needed to go for a Philly. Peralta, $7 on Yahoo, 100% locked. That's a good question. So yeah, David Peralta now back in the lineup. He is the flat minimum on Yahoo today. Clearly a hitter that is slightly more talented than being priced at just $7. Look, on a 3-game slate, you can probably get away with having a guy in 10 out of your 10 lineups. I don't think that that's unreasonable. I probably wouldn't advocate for it. I'd say, I'd want to get him in like 7, maybe. But yeah, he is in a fantastic spot. To be able to get someone of his ilk at the minimum is, it's hard to pass up. Projected for 34% ownership right now, so you are not the first one to get onto that sort of idea. Alrighty, what else we got? Real Muto or White in a GPP. Gee, I wonder which direction you're going to go on that one. Would you rather have JT Real Muto or Tyler White?
I mean, I really don't even think we could compare here. Real Muto all day.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I would much rather have Real Muto in that scenario. On DK, running Nola and Bueller, where are you going to stacks? Feel tough with prices. A lot of Dodgers. That's making up the primary package of Nola plus Bueller lineups that I have. Dodgers and Astros seem to be my key pairing for Nola and Bueller. Do you happen to see anything in your lineups? Where are you going most if you have a Nola Bueller lineup?
It's really difficult, but on DK, rolling with Nola and Bueller, to really make it affordable, I'm going Will Smith at catcher, and then it gives me the ability to try to stack like a 3-3-1 or a 4-3, but not any of those really high premium bat price points like the top of Philly or like a majority of Seattle. It's really difficult.
11 of my first 12 lineups on DraftKings are Nola Bueller combos. All 11 of them have Will Smith, so I really like that shout out. Pretty heavy on Will Smith in that scenario. Pretty heavy on Chris Taylor. I see no reason that doesn't go incredibly well for me. That's not true. It will probably go really poorly. Any other questions coming in? Emac says 80% Nola ride or die, eh? 80% on FanDuel ride or die. 99% on DraftKings, which is even more aggressively ride or die. Ron Say or Tony Gwynn? Bruce, I don't think we're playing DFS in 1984 right now. And I'm going to I don't know if Ron Say is still alive, but I'm going to have a lot of trouble taking Tony Gwynn. I'm pretty sure he's going to get a 0 today.
That's amazing.
Ron Say could be dead too. I have no idea. I just know for sure that Tony Gwynn is. Unless you mean Tony Gwynn Jr., at which point I have no idea where that dude is right now. Banned, maybe? Not the majors that I can recall. Let's see. Do we have any other questions coming in? We've got 5 minutes before lineups lock, so if you don't have them in yet, people, what are you waiting for?
I'm playing in this big 555 one tonight.
On DK?
Yeah.
Just the mini max for me today.
So I'm just having a little fun with it.
So that's the walk-off home run?
Yeah.
I kind of just want to get that last seat that's open right now. But
I've done that sometimes, and it doesn't lead anywhere good.
I have never had a situation where like I spotted overlay that's really aggressive, or I was just like, okay, today feels like that day I should go bigger. Never has that been the day where it works.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any overlay showing up right now? It'd be something to take a look at. Late lock might be problematic for people. The tournament's guaranteed. So there is quite a bit of overlay to be found. The quarter jukebox is going to overlay. The second mini max is going to overlay. The $10 swing for the fences probably will fill. Let's see if there's anything on FanDuel that hasn't been loaded up yet. FanDuel not having that kind of problem. The $9.99 rally will be probably not fully full. And then the quarter pinch, the second pinch hit on FanDuel is probably not going to fill. So I think that I have to enter this second mini max now, which I don't really want to do.
No, just do it. Gotta have fun, right?
Yeah, I guess. Let's just straight YOLO this one. Just got done saying how every single time that I've done this in the past, it hasn't worked. What did I do? Another 150 straight in. It's incredible.
Though, right?
It's incredible. So what do you got up? What do you got going on for the rest of your night? I obviously have very little aside from watching the back of my eyelids, but you've got like a normal night ahead of you. Any big plans?
Yeah, bachelorettes tonight. So, it's actually going to be a good one. There's going to be fighting, huge rugby match. The Boston Celtics are featured in it as well. So we'll see a lot of Jaylen Brown and Scary Terry making an appearance on the Bachelorette. They're really branching out now to the sports industry. So it'll be nice to see that tonight.
So that's a pretty broad Bachelorette episode. So rugby and the Celtics, and is the fight independent of rugby?
So the group date is the rugby match where you'll see a lot of fighting, and then the one-on-one date is someone gets to go to the Boston facility and play basketball with Jaylen Brown in a pickup game like Scary Terry and stuff, and get to go throughout the whole garden center and everything else. So I mean, I wish I would have had that opportunity. That would have been incredible.
I wouldn't want to play the rugby. That seems like a bad idea.
I would do that all day, man. Are you kidding me? That would have been amazing.
I'm in for the basketball.
Yeah.
My best friend played rugby at Villanova, and just watching that and watching those guys was terrifying to me. I have never been that much of a man in my entire life.
Oh my gosh. You got to be a real man to play that sport.
I've never been that guy on a single day of my life. I don't think that I'm qualified to play a rugby video game.
I don't think there's a rugby. Is there such thing?
There is.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
There definitely was a rugby video game for PlayStation 2. I'm not so sure that they've been cranking out updated versions from year to year, but it definitely did exist at one point in time. Yeah, that was never for me. Never for me at all. Never played a contact sport in my life.
Wow, you never played football?
Played soccer. Soccer, golf, baseball, basketball.
Soccer is definitely contact.
Soccer was not contact when I played it.
Really?
Soccer becomes contact at the higher levels. Well, once I got to high school, I was just like, you know what? Drinking's more fun than sports. We're locked, everybody. 9:40.
Oh, man. Can't wait to see what the percentages are in this 5-5-5.
Hopefully Aaron Nola ends up under-owned.
Well, we're about to find out. Oh, well, not really yet, because got to wait till the game starts.
Yeah, we'll only get one. How'd you enjoy your first Live Before Lock experience?
It was good, man. I had a great time. Thank you. It was fun.
You'll be back Wednesday, right? Was that the plan? Okay.
I think so. Yeah. I looked at the schedule. I get confused because of the Chris.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch all former Chris's to Spags, and then I'm going to list you as Randone. I think that's probably our only real option.
Awesome.
But yeah, three-way. There we go. Three-way on Wednesday. I'm gonna be the meat sandwich between two Chris's.
Oh man! All right.
I'm gonna have to make the overlay be me in between you guys too, for sure.
Oh my god. Walker Buehler 47%.
DK? Or in that 555.
In the DK 555.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Any final takes before we get out of here?
No, that's it. Other than that, go Mariners, go Phillies, go Aaron Nola for your sake.
Absolutely.
And I guess we'll see how it all goes down.
All right. At Chris Randone on Twitter, correct?
Yes, at Chris Randone.
How often does the article drop?
3 times a week, sometimes 4.
Check it out. Get your roses, everybody.
Yeah. They've been on fire lately, so check them out.
Check them out. Tomorrow we're back to normal slate. Myself and Laffy will kick it off in the morning for you guys. We'll have Ben and Tim talking PGA at 2:30. This is RBC Canadian, I think. I haven't started doing any research yet for golf, but we'll have the normal package of times. We get a normal Tuesday slate tomorrow. So tune into all of that. Hit the like button before you leave. Subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications. check out the new channel trailer put together by Chris Baggs. We finally got rid of me when you get to the channel being like, hey, everybody. Finally put that one to rest. Got an actually good channel intro. So go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. That's probably it. Live Before Lock is the promo code, 50% off your first month with us. Any monthly package you choose, including packages with Fantasy Cruncher. So if you're looking to check us out, Live Before Lock, one big word. Don't put any spaces in it. You will fail. And that's it. I'm going to go sweat these lineups for like 45 minutes before I realize that my slate is already in the garbage, and I'll wake up to find out how bad it went. Chris, anything else?
That's it, man.
All right. Thanks for joining me, man. First time in the books. Many more to come. Best of luck, everybody. We're out of here.
Take it easy.